and welcome to Life with Jane. It's Christmas week. It's Monday. Christmas Day is on Wednesday. I won't be doing a video on Wednesday because it's Christmas Day, but I will be doing a Foodie Friday on Friday. So, what are we going to talk about today? Christmas. What are your memories of Christmas? What's Christmas like for you? What are you going to be doing for Christmas? Are you spending Christmas with family? Are you spending Christmas on your own? Do you go to church on Christmas Day? Do you go to church on Christmas Eve? Do you go to carol services? So I thought I'd tell you a little bit about my Christmas and what I do and what I've done. And I thought I'd start way back when I was a small child. So my grandparents at the time had a guest house in North Wales. It was just up on a hill at the top of Prestatyn, which is in North Wales. And every year we used to go up for Christmas because they owned a guest house. So they would have lots of guests throughout the year because that part of Wales was quite a tourist area. So they did very well with people coming to stay over the summer holidays, the Easter holidays. They would have business people because at the time they just started doing some oil rigs and things out at sea. So there were quite a lot of people that would stay there that would be working on the rigs and things and coming back in. Not people that worked out on there for sort of months on end, but people that were just sort of going out to visit, I assume, or whatever. But anyway, they ran a very good guest house. But at Christmas time, they always closed it, and it was just open for us and family. So we lived about 6 to 8 hours away, and my parents used to pack us up in the car with blankets and pillows so we could sleep, and they would always travel up over the evening, and you know, I assume my father would finish work, would come home, pack us in the car, and off we would trot. So I can remember being woken up. They always used to wake us up right at the top of Prestatyn. There was a village Christmas tree that was put up every year, and it had big lights on it, almost like if you know the light bulbs, it had those sorts of light bulbs on it. And we would be woken up to see the lights, and we knew then that we were only a few minutes away from my grandparents' house. So we would sit up in the car and see these beautiful Christmas lights, wind around the corner, go up the driveway, and in the bay window at the bottom of the guest house was a big huge Christmas tree, and it was all lit up, and my grandmother would be standing at the window with a hanky, because in those days my grandmother always had a hanky up her sleeve, a cotton hanky that was washed and ironed. And she would stand there waving the hanky as we came up the driveway, and would be there with big, huge kisses and hugs. And I can always remember my grandmother smelt of lavender. I think she used to use either lavender soap or she used a lavender perfume, but she always smelt of lavender. So whenever I smell lavender, I always think of my grandmother. And we would have the most amazing Christmas up there because lots of other family members would come down. My uncle and aunt would come down from Scotland sometimes, and it was just a great big huge family affair. And I would wake up in the morning, and my grandparents had always made us a little stocking, and the stockings weren't the big huge great things that we have these days. They were a sock, so literally a knee sock. And you would always have an apple or an orange in the bottom of the sock, and then a nut. And normally it was a walnut or a Brazil nut in its shell, because you'd have nutcrackers to crack them. And then there were always a few little sweeties, And then maybe a little toy, the sort of toy that you would get inside a Christmas cracker these days, and that was our stocking. And there was always a joke with my grandfather, because somebody would always, I think my grandmother would do the stocking, and she would always, rather than putting an apple or an orange in there, would put an onion in the bottom. So he would open it up and he'd go like, "Ooh, I've got an onion in the bottom," as the joke for Christmas. But as a child, it was absolutely magical. And we didn't have, the hundreds of Christmas presents and things that families and people seem to do these days. It was literally just that little stocking at the bottom of our beds, and then we would have a present under the tree, and it was a present. But it was just, as I say, the most magical time. I absolutely adored it. So going forward, with my own children, I would always do a stocking at the bottom of the bed. And as they grew up, the stocking had different things in. And the stockings weren't the sock ones, because the sort of things that you could fit in them, you couldn't fit the sort of things that they wanted. As in, I think back in the day there was all sorts of like Action Men and things like that. So, I would do sort of stockings with puzzles and games and things like that in there. And then again, they would have a big present under the Christmas tree, and then family and things would bring their presents and things round. So fast forward to today. What do I do today? Well, I'm on my own, but I'm very, very blessed that both of my adult boys, who are married and have 3 children each, so I have 6 grandchildren, as I've said before. I take it in turns. So one year I will go to one of them for Christmas Day, and then the other for Boxing Day, and then the following year it'll be the other way round. So this year I'm going to my eldest son's for Christmas Day, and I normally will get up, take the dog for a walk, and then go round for about 10:30, 11 o'clock, and then stay until probably 4 or 5. I don't like driving in the dark very much, so I tend to arrive back fairly early, and that's my Christmas, which is absolutely lovely. I used to go to the midnight mass for the carols and to church, but again, I don't like going out in the dark, and I'm afraid I'm in bed by about 11 o'clock. So I'm never really up to go to the church now. I normally try and get a carol service in at some time during the week, because our local church, they have lots of carol services. So I tend to do that, which is rather fun. And this year I've actually been invited by a friend of mine and her children, or her grandchildren, to go to a Christmas play. And the Christmas play is at the local, it's called the Maltings, which is a large centre. So it has a theatre, it has a small cinema. It's where I go on a weekly basis to the Craft Cafe, which I've told you about. And so they've got a Christmas play on this year. And so I'm going down with them, which will be rather exciting, because I don't normally go out and do that sort of thing. But I'm really looking forward to that. So that's going to be a real exciting one. I'm looking down a little bit because I have made a few notes. So what else am I going to be doing this week? As I said, I'm not going to be doing one on Christmas Day. There are so many others that you can watch, whether you're crafting, whether you're cooking, whether you're whatever. Have a look back at some of my other videos and look at those. If not, I expect you'll be eating and enjoying Christmas Day like I will, and not spending much time on social media, YouTube, or any other things. I tend to put my phone and everything to one side and just enjoy the day with the family. But Friday will be our Foodie Friday. So what are we doing on Friday? The recipe this Friday is for an upside down apple cake. Now you can do an upside down apple cake and you can cook it in the oven. You can do it in a small pan and then again cook it in the oven. This one you cook the whole thing on the top of the stove, and it takes literally 20 minutes to cook completely. So it probably takes 10 minutes maybe to do all the prep work, and slice the apples and everything. And so the whole thing you can make in half an hour. So if you happen to have somebody coming round and you needed to make something quick, I must admit I tend to make scones because I can make scones in about the same sort of time. But this is a really nice sort of cake that you could have with, a little bit of pouring cream or some ice cream or something like that, which would make a nice sort of, dessert or an afternoon tea thing if you've got somebody just popping round that you weren't expecting. And again, is a nice thing to have at Christmas, not overly expensive. So I thought that would be a nice one. So that's going to be coming out on this Friday, the normal 7 o'clock for our time, and wherever you are. So I'm not going to keep this long because I don't like to keep these very long at all, because my prattlings are prattlings and we discuss things as we go. There's one thing I wanted to tell you. You can probably see just the top of it, but if I just stand up a little bit, this is a little waistcoat which I made. And, I said I do crochet and things. So I'm going to turn around. I can't see you, but I'm just turning around so you can see. This is my little waistcoat, and it's made, if I sort of come a little bit closer, you can see it's made up of sunburst granny squares. And I was really rather pleased with that. I'm somebody, sorry, knocking the camera. I don't tend to make a lot of crochet clothing, as it were, but this particular pattern, as it were, I was down at the craft cafe, and one of the ladies down there was making a beautiful and diamond shaped ones, and it was all intricately crocheted in together. And I thought, I might have a go at doing that, but it was something that you'd have to sort of I would certainly have to concentrate a little bit on, whereas these are very simple to do. So if you're maybe sometime in the new year, because again, I'm still not sure about how I'm going to show it so you can see, I will show you how to do these little diamond sunburst crochet squares, and then you could make one yourself. It's very, very easy, and I will sort of show the pattern and everything at a later date, not now, because as I say, I will show you, but sometime in the new year. So happy Christmas, Merry Christmas, whatever you're doing. I hope it's a fun-filled time. It's full of joy and laughter, whether you are, as I say, having a huge family Christmas, whether you're spending Christmas on your own, it can still be fun. If you look at it, it's only really another day. And if you are on your own, pop the television on and watch a jolly good film or something really exciting that you haven't watched. Watch a series of some sort. Put a DVD on if you still got them and watch something that will make you laugh, a comedy or something like that. Make yourself something a little bit special that you don't normally make, and really enjoy the day. Go out and have a walk. If it's not too cold, not snowing, not pouring with rain, not something that you wouldn't want to go out, go out and have a lovely walk in the fresh air somewhere, and enjoy. Have a wonderful time, and I will see you on Friday for Foodie Friday. As always, please stay safe and well. Please be kind, and look forward to seeing you very soon. Bye-bye.